Just like a whole bunch of recipes out there, every single person has their own opinion on what they think should be in stuffing. Well, I'm gonna give you my take, and I'm gonna jam pack it with sausage, roasted mushrooms, lots of fresh herbs. It is dang delicious. We are gonna kick off this recipe by cubing up some fresh bread. Now, you can absolutely use some old staler bread, almost like a crouton, or if you want to use fresh bread, all bread is acceptable. I've got a great sourdough recipe, a French boule, an artisan loaf, or if you're like me and don't want to go through that, I went to a local bake shop or even a local grocery store that has a nice artisan French style bread just like this. What we want to do is cube it up into about 1-inch cubes. It does not have to be perfect at all, so don't sweat it. Once they are cubed, we're adding them to a cookie sheet tray lined with parchment paper. They are going in the oven on 300 degrees. It's going to take about 25-30 minutes, sort of dry them out, crisp them up until they're firm. This is great timing because there's plenty of time to prep up some other things. So I've got some yellow onions, slicing off the ends, slicing in half, take off that outside peeling, and then what we want to simply do is small dice them. And similar to the onions, we want to medium dice a few celery stalks. And if you've been following me for a while, when it comes to garlic, you already know, going straight through that press. And one of the unique ingredients I want to add to this are some fresh mushrooms. Now, whenever you deal with fresh mushrooms, it's good to sort of wipe them clean of any unwanted particles. So using a damp paper towel or cloth, give them a good wipe down on all sides. And when slicing them up, because these mushrooms can sort of rock all over the place, I use a really easy trick. Slice off the end, roll it over, see how it stabilizes, good to slice away. Now, when it does come to fresh mushrooms, all mushrooms are acceptable. Button mushrooms, oysters, shiitake, portobello, baby bella, cremini, you name it, use whatever you'd like in there. Once they are finished slicing, we're gonna grab those, the garlic, onion, celery, going over to a large rondeau. You could use a large frying pan over medium-high heat, gonna add some unsalted butter. And for the other unique ingredient, I'm gonna add in some pork sausage. I really wanna add some protein to this, and really good salty protein like pork sausage. Now, you can also use Italian sausage, whether that be mild, sweet, or hot. You could even use bratwurst. What I like to do though is have loose pork sausage. It's easier to cook, but if you only have links, be sure to slice them up super thin. Once it's done cooking and completely cooked through, just set the pork sausage to the side, go back over to that pot. We're gonna add in a little bit more butter. Now we're gonna add in our small diced onions. We're gonna take a few extra minutes just to try to lightly brown these up, maybe only 4 to 5. Continually stir to make sure nothing is burning. Again, just a nice light brown. Once they are to this consistency, we're going to add in the mushrooms. Now, since mushrooms take on a completely different flavor and a more delicious flavor once they are caramelized, we're going to do this for about 8 to 10 minutes, get a very nice brown on these. At this point, let's go ahead and add in our medium diced celery. We just want to cook this until tender, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, nothing longer than that. It's okay to try it out, make sure you're at a good stage. Then, because garlic cooks so quickly, we're going to add it in right at the end. They always say once you smell garlic, it's done cooking. Now, let's take that big pot over to our countertop where I have a very large bowl. We are going to add all of these cooked vegetables right in there. Use a rubber spatula if you need to get all that goodness in there. Don't forget about your pork sausage because that's going in the bowl as well. And at this time, our bread should be done toasting up. If it's done a little bit before time, no worries, just set it to the side. Add it to the bowl once it is done. Next thing we're going to do is add in some herbs. I've got some fresh sage, followed up by adding in some fresh minced rosemary and thyme. You can absolutely substitute for my dry poultry seasoning. Then what we want to do is season it very well with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. And now adding in a bit of chicken stock at a time, just like in my cornbread dressing recipe, We're going to mix it in before we add a little bit more. Now, the bread should be wet, moisturized, but not soggy. It should still hold shape, should not be anything that's completely falling apart. But when you do this, you want to be careful and gentle while mixing. In a small little separate bowl, we are going to whisk some eggs. You don't need to do this. This is something I like to do. A little extra fat, a little extra flavor, and it does help hold that stuffing together. Once they are whisked, add it in there, and again, gently fold all of those ingredients together. I want to reiterate, you do not need to add the eggs. That is something a little extra that I like to do. And once all those ingredients are folded together, we're going over to a deep 13x9 casserole dish, add our stuffing in there, and sort of flatten it out using that wooden spoon. I like to wrap it up in foil first. What we're going to do, sort of steam bake it. We're going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. Don't go too far, because what we're going to do is come back. We want to pull out our stuffing. Just take the foil completely off, because what we're going to do here is let some of that moisture evaporate and help brown up the top of our stuffing. Going back at 350 degrees for another 25 minutes. Let's take it out and have a look. Incredible. Telling you right now, if you make this, this is going to be your go-to stuffing recipe. The flavors are incredible. But it does not stop there. There are so many other variations that you can add to this to customize it, to make it your own. Maybe dried cherries, maybe oysters. A lot of folks ask for oyster stuffing. You can put the giblets in there, add turkey gravy at the end. I'm honestly not kidding. Make this your own, make it delicious. You've learned those techniques, you've been putting them into practice. Now it's time to do it while you showcase all this food to your friends, your family, all your guests. We got to plate up. We're just going to do one quick thing. Here we go. Very simply, add on finely minced parsley or any of the fresh herbs that we used in there. And if you love this recipe and learned something, please like and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out this video right here. We'll see you on there. Let's get in some of this.